All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a huge challenge in the world of AI today, the massive gap between what a technology can do and the actual bottom line business value it creates.
Okay, so look at this. On the left, you've got all the cool stuff that makes headlines, right? AI that generates text, creates amazing images, runs complex analysis, really impressive capabilities. But on the right, you have what businesses actually need to function, outputs they can trust, decisions that can be explained, and a clear line of responsibility. And here's the catch. The flashy stuff on the left doesn't just magically create the essential outcomes on the right.
And that leads us straight into something called the capability trap. This is what happens when we get so caught up in the technical wow factor that we totally forget about what it takes to make something useful and safe in the real world.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real problem. A key point from the source material for this explainer is that a ton of AI projects, even the most technically brilliant ones, just fizzle out. They fail to deliver any kind of lasting business value once the initial hype dies down.
But what's so interesting is that the tech itself is almost never the problem. The AI can usually do the job. No, the real reason for failure is a fundamental misalignment. It's a disconnect between this powerful new tool and how the organization actually works. Its processes, its people, and its structures for accountability.
So to really get this, you have to think about two totally different paths you can take with AI. Are you just building a demo, or are you engineering a real disciplined system? Because where you start determines where you end up.
Let's just put these two side by side. The demo path is all about novelty and speed. It's designed to look cool and work fast, but that approach almost always introduces hidden risks. The system path, on the other hand, is designed from the ground up for consistency and accountability. It might not look as flashy at first, but it's the only path that delivers real, lasting value.
So the demo path, it usually relies on what we call a mental model. You can think of it like a simple analogy or some scaffolding you put up. It's a great tool for helping people get a basic feel for something new. It builds intuition. But the system path? That's built on something completely different, a formal model. And this isn't just an analogy. It's a precise, detailed blueprint of exactly how the system works. And it's designed specifically for safe, accountable operations.
Now, don't get me wrong, mental models are super important. At first, they're fantastic for getting people started and helping them learn the ropes. They're basically the training wheels.
But here's the thing. You can't run a whole company on training wheels. Organizations need real operational systems. And that's where formal models become absolutely non-negotiable. They are the essential blueprints for operating safely and predictably.
And this brings us to a really critical rule. The very second that risk, authority, or accountability enter the picture, the mental model has to go. It must be dropped. It's just not good enough anymore. In fact, it can be dangerous. This is the point where a formal model isn't just nice to have, it's mandatory.
Okay, so we know we need a disciplined system. How in the world do you actually build one? Well, it all comes down to designing for trust and accountability right from the very beginning.
It really boils down to three core design principles. First, you have to separate concerns. Keep the different parts of the system distinct and clear. Second, and this is crucial, you must require human approval at key points, no automatic actions. And third, you need to show the sequence of steps, not just a black box of automation. People need to see how the work gets done.
And being disciplined also means knowing what not to do. This is a list of patterns you have to avoid, things like diagrams showing autonomous pipelines, or closed loops that make it seem like the machine is in charge, even using imagery like brains or calling things agents. Why? Because all of these are just misleading mental models. They hide who's responsible instead of making it clear.
You know, when you start building things this way, with this kind of discipline, it totally changes how you measure success. It's not about speed and flashy demos anymore.
This chart just lays it all out perfectly. The value of a demo is measured in speed and the illusion of automation. But the value of a real, disciplined system? We're talking about much more important stuff, actually reducing risk, making the organization more consistent, and helping humans make better quality decisions. That's the real payoff.
And here's something that's so important to remember. This kind of real, lasting value doesn't just show up overnight in some dramatic breakthrough. It's built slowly, carefully, one improvement at a time. There's a reason that successful AI adoption looks cautious and deliberate. It's because it is.
So if we boil this entire thing down to one core idea, this is it. You don't create sustainable value by chasing some fantasy of full automation or trying to take humans out of the loop. You build it by carefully aligning these incredibly powerful systems with human responsibility, making our accountability structures stronger, not weaker.
Which leaves us with one final, very pointed question you should be asking about your own projects. Is this system being designed to look good in a presentation? Or is it being engineered to hold up under the intense scrutiny of an audit? The answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about whether you're building a fleeting demo or creating real, sustainable value.